So I had been writing this character Camille for a long time. I had been sort of playing with this young woman who is very gutsy and ambitious, makes choices fueled by her own desires in a way that I did not feel that I could or would. But I also wanted to figure out where she kind of came from. Why does she have so much ambition? Why is she so driven to live her life on her own terms? So I had kind of written her later, and I wanted to kind of think about her origin story. And I started writing, and I realized, she comes from this generation of women who did not necessarily have opportunities. They come from trauma, neglect, emotional injury, and they sort of have pushed her to make her own choices or pushed her indirectly to make her own choices. But then it came from trying to figure out sort of her origin story to figuring out how these women kind of dance with each other, their sort of interactions, their relationships, and it became more about the mother-daughter relationships that they had. And I started thinking about my own relationship with my own mother and sort of how her past influenced how she mothered me. And I was, I think, like 27 when I started writing, and I was thinking about having children of my own, and realized I had a lot of work to do um, emotionally before I did that. And I realized I had sort of gotten stuck in like empathy almost. Like I understood why my mother was the way that she was, but I had not figured out how to move forward, I guess. What do I do with this information? Okay, she hurt me. What do I do now? So through writing Grown Women, I kind of figured out how to stop and take a look at what came before me and think about how I have the opportunity and the resources to kind of stop and think in a way that my ancestors did not. So the conversations are often conversations that I've had, maybe not the content of it, but like sort of the dynamics are very familiar to me. These characters are familiar to me. They are not necessarily, they're basically composites of women that I know. And it was easy to think of them as like distinct once I sort of got to know them. That took a while, maybe a year or two, to fully understand who Evelyn was and Charlotte and Corinna and Camille and where their personalities sort of come from and the way that they talk to each other comes from. And that came from building the story. Like as the plot came, became more clear to me. Um, I did read out loud a lot to my husband, and he would tell me like that doesn't sound like something so and such would say, or that doesn't sound like what they would say in that situation. Like, are you sure that that's the right word choice for them? And that was very helpful because I feel like he also started to get to know them as we read together.